This really might not be your expertise.
एक ऐसी इंडस्ट्री है जहां मेरा एक्सपर्टीज नहीं है. आई एम आउट.
But before you go out, you're watching iGyan, and today we're going to be checking out the new OnePlus Nord CE2. Now, at the time of recording this video, we don't have the price of the phone, but we leave it in the description below for you guys. The phone is a next generation of their mid-range phone adding into the OnePlus Nord series. There are quite a lot of things that are different this time around, so we'll go through all of those, but let's quickly talk about the build quality and design. The back panel has this really nice raised area, which is the camera bump, which also fuses with the back panel quite nicely. This is a very interesting design for the back panel, and it looks really nice, at least when the phone is new, because this back panel is completely made out of plastic, so it will scratch easily. But out of the box, it looks very different, very new, and you'll really like this design. The front of the phone does have Gorilla Glass 5, so you are protected as far as that is concerned. The phone weighs in at 173 grams and is only 7.8 millimeters thick, which is nice. The only thing that is missing on the outside is the slider that you typically find on OnePlus devices. That is gone now, so I guess that is a 1- for this phone. Now on the front, you do have a 6.43-inch AMOLED display, which has a 2400 by 1080 pixel resolution. You do get a 20:9 form factor, and this display does have a P3 color gamut along with a 90 Hz of refresh rate. As I mentioned, the display is protected with Corning Gorilla Glass 5, and it does have HDR10 certification. The display has good colors overall, which is something that you typically expect with an AMOLED display. But for the fourth OnePlus Nord, I was expecting at least 120 Hz of a refresh rate, but we are stuck at 90 Hz. Also, the price bracket that the Nord belongs to, most phones do now offer a 120 Hz refresh rate, and the Nord definitely misses out on that. The display is also very bright, but outdoors in direct sunlight, it does suffer a little bit, especially in comparison to the iPhone that is easily readable. But bear in mind, the iPhone has a much higher nits and also is almost 10 times the price of the expected price of the OnePlus Nord. So you can't really compare them apples to apples. But you do see a big difference in the displays. Now, running everything on the inside is a MediaTek Dimensity 900 chipset. This does have an octa-core CPU along with the Mali G68 MC4 GPU. You get 6GB or 8GB options for the RAM and 128GB of onboard storage. You do have a microSD card expansion capability for up to 1TB of microSD cards. Good luck finding them. But if you want to expand your storage, you can do that on the OnePlus Nord, which is nice. You do still continue to get 2 SIM card slots as well. What's interesting about this is that MediaTek is now starting to make its way into OnePlus devices. And while you lose out on some of the fluidity that you see with Snapdragon chips on OnePlus devices at least, we did run into some occurrences of crashing and lagging in certain areas. Now, whether that is due to this being a pre-release unit or because just the integration of the operating system with the MediaTek Dimensity 900 chip has not been done to perfection like they've been doing with Snapdragon chipsets is something that we'll have to see in the long run. As far as day-to-day use is concerned and running through applications is concerned, it runs without any issues. You can also game on this device without any problems, and you do get your 90 Hz of refresh rate on games that do support it. What's also interesting is that touch response is good, and you do have a game booster mode as well. So it allows you to control all your needs while you're gaming. You can also turn off notifications and block calls and those kind of things if you're really engrossed in a gaming session. The speaker is also really nice and loud for that aspect, but it is a single speaker and it is easily blocked when you're holding the phone in a gaming position. So you want to be careful of that. And I would recommend using headphones or any kind of wireless earphones. You do get a headphone jack on the OnePlus Nord CE2, which is something that is a rarity nowadays. Performance-wise, the phone is not a slouch, and you'll have yourself running through most applications, that mostly anything you throw at this device. Like I said, we did run into certain occurrences of lag and stutter, And that might be something that the company should be able to resolve with software updates and fixes. So we'll stay tuned for that. As far as the battery is concerned, we've got a 4500 milliamp hour battery, and it is a dual cell battery, and you do get 65 watts of charging. All of the nomenclature for warp charge or dash charge and all of those things are gone now. This is called SuperVOOC, and that is thanks to the parent company, which is Oppo. We've got an interesting camera setup on this device. We've got a 64 megapixel main camera, and then we get an 8 megapixel ultra wide camera and a 2 megapixel macro camera. Still not willing to let go of that macro camera for most brands. I don't know why. And look at the size of the sensor. You really don't want to be clicking pictures with this sensor. The 64 megapixel does a pretty decent job of clicking macro shots unless you want to like really go into your subject. I would recommend buying some macro lenses and slapping them onto this main camera and getting some really good shots with that. You're not going to be using the 2 megapixel camera. It's just there to fill up some space for an extra hole that was created in the back panel, and it basically serves no purpose. Images are pretty good in the 64 megapixel mode. In the other modes, we saw that images turn out to be really flat. The AI algorithm also tries to boost color quite a lot. We took some shots outdoors and it tries to fill up the sky with more blue color. It looks extremely artificial, and that is in the name of the AI that is being installed on it. But the fact that it is very visible that it is artificial feels like I'm using a filter or some effect or Photoshop, and you don't want that with pictures coming out of the sensor, but it does do that. You can't turn it down, you can only turn it off. So you can turn off the AI algorithm and you do get some better shots with that. If you turn off the 64 megapixel mode, you do get 3 zoom options. So you get a 0.6 ultra wide, and then you get a main shot, and then you get a telephoto as well. All of these are pretty good for basic usage, and it basically uses a digital zoom on the main camera to give you a telephoto. So it is cropping into the pixels to get you a telephoto shot. I would not recommend doing this in low light environments, but it does work. The main camera does have an f1.7 sensor, so that should be no problem as far as clicking pictures is concerned. The front camera is a 16 megapixel sensor as well, and it's pretty good for selfies. And the camera UI has a ton of functions and filters and a portrait shot available for the front shot as well as for the main shot. As far as video is concerned, it's a very strange mix of things. You do get a 1080p video at 60 frames per second. In this price bracket that this phone is expected to be launched in, 4K video at 60 frames per second should have been provided, but you get 4K 30. And if you do turn on AI video mode, it goes to 1080p 30. It doesn't even shoot in 1080p 60. So it's definitely missing out on some shooting capabilities as far as video is concerned. And video is what people are using more nowadays. So companies should really focus on bringing some more video capabilities. Now, as far as call quality is concerned, you do have noise cancellation for your audio. So if you're talking to somebody, they will get sound cancellation from your audio, and the earpiece is also loud, so it does give you a really nice output for your calls. More importantly, this phone will support 5G bands in India, and it has a whole host of bands. We leave a link to the exact bands if you're interested on their website. But if you are buying a phone for 5G capabilities, this does fall into that category. And while it can really satisfy most needs for most consumers, you should be able to get a little bit more bang for your buck when you spend in this price category, which I'm assuming is going to be the 20 to 30,000 price category. So in that price category, I feel that this does miss out on certain elements that I would have liked on this device. And that's our video for the OnePlus Nord CE 2. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're not already part of Team iGyan. And if you've not taken part in our Sony Truly Wireless earphone giveaway, we'll have a link to that in the description below as well. Go check out that video, take part in it. It's absolutely free. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can take part. I'll see you guys in the next one.